What's going on, everybody? Power Metal Ranger here again with another Ranger talk. And today I have a very, very special guest. It's none other than the mighty, the marvelous Margarita Monet from Edge of Paradise. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for such a cool introduction. I appreciate it.
Course, and again, I just appreciate you taking the time to chat. So cool. I guess my first question is we'll go kind of back in time here. And when did your musical career really begin? When did you really kind of get into music and decide that that was something you wanted to be a part of?
Yeah, so I've always been in music. I've always I played piano my whole life. I was more into classical music growing up, and this sort of began really when I met Dave Bates, who's the guitar player and co-founder of the band. So that's when we really, for me, I put all my energy into this and put all the skills that I had developed throughout my earlier life. I geared everything towards this. So yeah, I mean, I was always in music, and when there was a time in my life where I stepped away from a little bit, like when I went to college, I went to NYU for theater, and I did minor in music, but then everything sort of, my focus shifted more to theater. And when I moved to LA, I realized how much I missed music. And when I fell into it by chance, when I met Dave, everything sort of clicked, because everything I love to do, which is, has to do with music, create music, also make videos. I love all the theatrical stuff. I love to create. So I realized that doing the band is really what I wanted to do with. It's basically everything I love to do in one thing.
Right. No, yeah, that's perfect. It's the best of everything in one, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
So I guess just meeting Dave, is that just kind of really how you got into the symphonic metal genre? Or, is that something that you were into beforehand, or is it just kind of something you explored once you met him?
Definitely once I met him, because before, like in college, I discovered Symphony X. That was my sort of heavy band I discovered.
Yeah.
And because I played piano my whole life, I loved because they have crazy keyboard solos. So I always loved that. And also my dad really loves Led Zeppelin, and my mom always loved Queen. So I saw VHS tapes of their performances.
Right.
And I was always like, wow, like I could never do anything close, to that. It just seemed such a different world, because I was in classical music where everything is very proper. Like you do express yourself, but it's a very different way of expressing yourself.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I went through a Marilyn Manson phase in college, and I love Nine Inch I love Korn. So before Dave, yeah, I did discover some of the heavier bands, but still, like, it was just such a different world. There wasn't even a thought in my mind that I would be anywhere close to that. So when I met Dave, since he's from a heavy metal background and I'm from another background, like we didn't go into this thinking like we're gonna do this, because earlier music, it was more even like guitar player music, because he wrote the songs with Robin McCauley, and some of those songs were never released. So when we met, I just re-sang some of them. And when you listen to it, it does not sound like us at all. So the first song we wrote together was In a Dream, which ended up on our second album, Immortal Waltz. And from there, like, I think it's with our EP Alive, we started to find a path towards the sound we wanted to go, the direction we wanted to go in. And it was never like, we knew when we liked something and we followed that idea. So it morphed into whatever it is now. So it's a little bit industrial, a little
Yeah.
bit of electro rock. It has a cinematic thing to it. It has symphonic element, of course, because I love all the keyboards.
Right.
So it kind of morphed into whatever it is now. So when people ask like what genre, it's kind of hard to say. Not genre, but like they're like what is it exactly? Because if someone is like a fan, like a diehard fan of symphonic metal, they don't necessarily say we're symphonic because we don't exactly sound like Nightwish or bands of like Epica.
Yeah.
We're kind of like edged in between somewhere.
Right.
But
Hybrid kind of, yeah.
I love all types of music. That's why when we make ours, I just go with what I like to hear
Mhm.
and follow the ideas. So yeah.
Well, that's really cool. I guess you kind of built upon and included a lot of different of the genres that you like. Because even when you were mentioning like Korn and Nine Inch Nails, like the new metal and industrial, and when I think about it, you can almost hear shades of that, like in the
Mm,
Unknown album and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
it's really cool. Like, people always love to, I'm sure ask you like, oh, what do you sound like? What does it sound? It's like, it's hard to explain, right?
Yeah.
But I think that is really cool because that gives you a signature sound. I think
Thank
when an Edge of Paradise song comes on, it's like, that's Edge of Paradise.
thank you. And it's a really huge compliment because we always wanted to achieve that somehow. And we always wanna, like with each album, we always wanna go kind of raise the bar, go to the next level. And creating something that's unique to us is always what we strive to do. So thank you for saying that.
I know with a lot of your endeavors, I know you have many that you do at once, but one of them being kind of like the arts and design and painting and stuff like that. Did you have any, I know you mentioned you trained in theater and music. Did you have any formal training in painting or those kind of arts as well?
No, not really. I always grew up watching my mom paint. She painted a lot and I did it with her, and then I always loved it growing up. So when it was about 5 years ago, I when actually when Timo Warres, he's a German artist, he did a lot of our album covers,
Oh,
and he became a friend and we met and he gave me one of his books, and he sort of inspired me to go back and start painting a little bit. And when I did, I realized I missed it. And then posted something random online and people were like, oh, it's cool, and people started to have interest towards it. So I kind of made it a part of the band, and then eventually, like when we released Universe, we did these limited edition box sets, and I got actual wooden boxes and I painted each one
wow.
inspired by the song, and people really, they were into it. So yeah, I just kept going. Like with this album, I did a piece for each song, and I'm gonna put out a lyric and art book. So the book is gonna have the painting and the lyrics and a little bit of a backstory. So yeah, because I like the visual aspect of music, and I'm a visual person. Like when I make a song, I always imagine it, like the world of it.
Mhm.
And painting is a good way to sort of give a little bit of the visual realm of the song.
Right.
So why I enjoy doing it and I enjoy sharing it with people.
How do you come up with or manifest the ideas of the songs? Because I mean, like you're even mentioning it, you kind of create a world, with each song, both lyrically and then visually with the music videos. And then you also put it down like in paintings and all of that stuff. So how does that begin? Do you just visualize it or do you just get an idea?
um, it's different with each song. Well, for this album, it came together pretty quick because I, the longer we are the band, the more clear idea I have of the story, of the themes, of what I want to say. And I had really kind of clear ideas of the world of this album. And maybe because we wrote it during 2020, so it has a little bit of this post-apocalyptic
Yeah,
vibe.
dystopian. Yeah.
Yeah, but like my dad is a scientist, and I was always fascinated by anything science. And I always keep up on all the discoveries and read about all the futuristic elements of these discoveries and just how humanity evolves. And I love reading about artificial intelligence and how, you know, prolonging life and what it would mean for humans to live longer and all the implications of that. So there's just so much stuff that fascinates me. And since I'm not a scientist and you know, do research, it's kind of a way for me to put that into ideas and make people think about these things and say how I feel about it. But also like some of the songs, like The Unknown, it's just so that song is like right out of my soul, because it's really I wrote that song for myself in a way, because I am the unknown. It does scare me a little bit, you know. I think about it a lot, you know, not like, because the unknown can mean so many different things, whether it's about whether the afterlife exists or just what's going to happen tomorrow, or just it could be anything, you know. If someone is a religious person, just like I don't really follow a religion, but I am spiritual. I always believe that there's more to life than what we know, from any standpoint, even from a scientific standpoint, because there's just, you know, we're always discovering something. Maybe 10 years from now, traveling through different dimensions, it's like jumping on an Uber, you know.
Right.
Oh. So I think having an open mind is a doorway to our future. And that song is sort of defines that for me. Instead of having fear in some of the things that we don't know, or because yeah, like I wanted to shift the narrative and find the positive in the unknown. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So cool. I love that interdimensional Ubers. I wonder how
Yeah.
much that would cost to go across dimensions.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I, I think about this sometimes. Like, there's so many new discoveries about prolonging human life, and there's already a technology that's been tested it's been tested in animals, and it literally erases, I don't know, 30% of the animal's lifespan. So it prolongs it. So there's like these two mice, and they're, you know, one was given this treatment and one wasn't, and they were exactly the same age. And one's like, you know, hunchback, can barely move, and the other one's you know, running around like it's a baby.
Wow.
So it's just, we're on the brink of so much new technology. And the question is also like, who's gonna get that? You know, who's gonna
Yeah.
because imagine if humans can live over 100 years and function as you're like, you know, as though you're 40 or 50, but you're actually 100. Like, what is that going to mean for society? Just questions like that. It's really fascinating.
No, it is. And then, I mean, you know, that just opens a can of worms, really. Is if people start living longer, then, I mean, are they going to start trying to control like birth rates and stuff? Because then if people are around longer, then there'll just be more people at the same time. And like you said, who would get the treatments, you know, probably the same people that,
Yeah, a whole new shift in government, right?
yeah, wow.
Well, I guess maybe by that time we'll figure out the interplanetary travel, and some people would go to another planet.
You seem pretty optimistic that we're getting all this crazy fun stuff here in the near future. Do you know something that we don't? Huh? Are you in the loop on this stuff here?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, oh, hey. So, with all of your different endeavors, how do you find time to do all this stuff, the art and the music videos and the songs and, the music and, do you stop time for just yourself so you can do this stuff or?
I wish. I'm always chasing time, and it's funny, you're like, how do you find time? And I always feel like I don't find time, and because I always you know I always want to do more, and like right now we have so much in the works, and if I was able to stop time, I would make it already, like, we would have 3 more songs, 3 more music videos, and we would be touring. But it's just, there's so much that goes behind the scenes. Like right now we're trying to figure out touring, and there are options, um, but just so many things has to align, especially we're kind of at the level where, like right now we have a lot more people involved than just us. Sometimes I think about it, when it was like 5 years ago, and it was just Dave and I and the other guys in the band, and Dave and I were just guiding the ship, and we had to do everything and book all the tours, and everything was up to us, and we
Mhm.
just made it happen. In a way it was easier, but also harder because we couldn't, it was just much smaller scale, and we were responsible for everything, so everything was on our shoulders.
Yeah.
Now it's a little different, but now we have more people involved, and more people have to be on the same page, and more things have to come together, and it's just like I'm trying to learn patience and just have faith in the unknown, that things will come together and we will bring music to all corners of the world very soon, because that's really what I want to do, like right now, because there's nothing like a live show. There's nothing like really sharing the music with people live, and that energy and how it brings people together. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Awesome. So what have you learned through your experience of, writing and putting together the album, The Unknown?
Mhm.
Um, is there anything that you've kind of learned? I know, you kind of build upon each album to include new elements or, get new ideas. Did you really learn anything through the experience of The Unknown that you want to include in the future, or, anything like that? And did it change your way of thinking in any way for the songwriting going?
Yeah, for me, when we write an album, it's just like going through another year of your life learning things. So the album that you made, it becomes a part of you, so you take it to the next thing. And for me, like when we wrote Universe, it just kind of became a part of me. So I took that when we made The Unknown. With The Unknown, we had more people, like Neil Sanderson from 3 Days Grace. He was part of the recording sessions when I did the vocals. And it was interesting for me because the way we did it is Dave and I wrote the song, then we worked backwards. Instead of doing all the instruments and then vocals at the end, we took the demo, we took it to Mike Plotnikov, who's our engineer and co-producer, and I do the vocals on top of the demo track. So the song is still shifting and evolving. And Neil was part of those sessions through Zoom because he's in Canada, and it was during the pandemic, so no one could go anywhere.
Yeah.
And he brought another perspective, because 3 Days Grace, they're a very different band. They're very to the point, right? They're more just because we're, compared to 3 Days Grace, we're a little more prog. Like we take, it's just a
Three Days
different
Grace is more
thing.
just straight kind of rock.
Yeah, exactly. So he helped me to, because like I come and I have all these ideas and I want to put it all into the song, and sometimes the main message maybe gets lost. So he helps me to find that main thing and focus on that. So it was like the middle ground between us and 3 Days Grace, because we want to stay true to ourselves, but it was helpful to, like, basically we took out a lot of words and
Oh.
it let the songs breathe a little bit.
Hmm.
Because now that I look back, at the time, I'm like, oh, well, I missed some of the parts that we took away. But now that I am listening back to the songs, I'm like, yeah, the song really didn't really need that. It might have been a cool thing, maybe like if we did like an extended version
Yeah.
thing, but it did help to make the song a little more powerful because it's just all about the message and the melody. So that was interesting to work with him on that. And then when I worked with Howard Benson, because Howard came a little bit later in the game, we were already done with the album, and he came on board and I sang some of the songs with him. And he saw like an edge in my voice that maybe I didn't even know I had. So he really pushed me. Like Digital Paradise, I re-sang the whole thing because it was a little bit more mysterious, more ethereal sounding at first. And then when I was sang it with him, it was more like powerful and edgy.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. So now I feel like I'm more versatile as a singer because now I know I have more range vocally. And when we make music now, I kind of keep all of that in mind. Like we have a new song, it's called The Faceless that we're working on now. And it's if I had to compare it to a song of The Unknown, it's kind of like The Unknown, but it's kind of like a mix of Digital Paradise and The Unknown together. So I'm excited about that one, and it's I think we're taking it another level up. So I'm excited for that, and I feel like we're traveling through the galaxies.
Wow. That's exciting. You saying that taking it to another level, because I feel like The Unknown was, very grand in scope and whatnot. So even further than that, that's very exciting to say the least. So yeah, I mean, I was really kind of going to ask, what's next for Edge of Paradise, but I guess you kind of answered that somewhat in that question. We got another song coming. You guys are taking it to the next level.
Yeah, I have one more thing to add. So I can't tell you exactly the cover we're doing because we never really did covers before, and then we have a joint um, a thing with Howard's label, Judge and Jury, and we did the Who's Love Reign Over Me with
Mhm.
them. So we're gonna do one more cover, and this one is gonna like make some people mad, I think. Well, not
Man.
no. I
Why?
Okay, I didn't word it right, but it's one of the songs. It's a very iconic song, and it's like one of those songs that people are like, you can't touch that. But I feel like we did such a cool version of it, and we really made it our own. And I really believe in it, and I think it's so much fun.
Wow.
And it's like a total opposite of Love Reign Over Me. It's like an industrial cyber jungle, like Blade Runner combined with
Wow.
Matrix. Like it's really cool.
That sounds
I
awesome.
I gave you a hint there. Cyber jungle. So
Cyber Jungle.
you can guess the song.
Wow. Is it a Guns N' Roses song by any chance?
Well, I can say,
Interesting. All right. I mean, it definitely sounds very cool. Looking forward to that. And y'all have a tour. I guess you're planning touring, right?
yeah. So it looks like we might go to the UK first in August, and then we're gonna do a lot of US dates in the fall. So we're just trying to align with other bands. So because with the pandemic, a lot of tours got pushed back and a lot of these tours were rescheduled. So a lot of lineups were waiting to go out. So we kind of, um, and we got new management now, FM. So we're really happy with our team and we're really happy with the vision and everyone that's a part of this now. It's just a matter of putting it together and finalizing some details, because I just want to announce the tours and just like be excited and just go out.
Right.
But it takes a little more time, but we will be touring a lot second half, well, I guess from end of summer all the way till the end of the year.
Wow,
So hope
awesome.
you very soon.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, you gotta come nearby. You gotta explore all the US. I'm sure lots of fans everywhere are gonna be excited for that. It's been what, it'll be 2.5 years probably since you've toured, right? By the time you actually hit the first show.
Yeah, like we just did the Viper Room show in Hollywood, and it was
Right.
so back. It felt so amazing.
Wow.
um yeah, it's very hard not to perform when you're a band, especially because we love to do that. Like I just, it's my favorite thing to do. So yeah, last tour we did was the European one in 2000, end of 2019. So 2.5 years, that's right.
Crazy. I bet your show at the Viper Room was kind of like a shot of adrenaline for you, where
Oh
like you said, you just want to just go, go, go now. It's like
yeah,
you've had a taste.
yeah, because we play with Diamante, so she was the headliner, and we had a shorter set, so we got that taste of
Yeah.
what we can get out and do already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
y'all gonna be able to headline this tour coming up, or is it
You
gonna
know,
be
right now we're gonna be co-headlining.
okay?
We're gonna do like a I like there's we most likely, like I can say it, with a band Temperance, and then also a band called Leaves Eyes. So
Wow, that's
yeah, so
exciting. Wow.
that together. I mean, I mean, I don't think they'll get mad at me for saying that, but it's gonna happen. So
Wow. If I catch that show, I'll have to say, hey, I recently saw Visions of Atlantis,
oh,
and
very cool.
yeah, and so the one of the members from Temperance is
Oh, I didn't know that.
the vocals in Visions of Atlantis as well, and I said hey to him,
Oh.
and so it'd be funny if I show up again, say, hey man, I gotta check out your second band too. So
That's cool.
that's funny. And Leaves Eyes, wow, that's big too. I've been a big fan of them for many
Yeah, they've
years.
been around for so many years now. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that sounds like a great trio, to say the least. Really, last question I have for you is, we've talked about Edge of Paradise and all of that stuff in the future. How about for you? Where do you see yourself really evolving professionally over the next several years? Where do you want to see
Yeah.
yourself, personally and professionally?
Yeah, I mean, Edge of Paradise is such a big part of my life. I feel like it's gonna be a part of my life for a very long time. And I also love, like, I'd love to get into movie soundtracks, making movie soundtracks, and yeah, like the more videos we make, also, I would love to create more, even like, videos like short films type
Mhm.
of stuff. So I yeah, I love to go into more of the cinematic direction and just evolve in that area as
Yeah,
well.
explore your more theatrical side a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool, very cool. Sounds great. I'm sure you're excited for everything, and thank you again for chatting.
Oh,
Really, really appreciate it.
no, thank you. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate your enthusiasm towards our music. It always means a lot um when we see people, when our music means something to people. It's like the best compliment. So thank you for that.
Of course, very cool. And there you go, folks. That's Margarita Monet from Edge of Paradise. That's what I got for y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, I'll catch y'all next time. Ranger out.